Well, first of all, you've got to make sure the technology works properly. So I think maybe I'll answer that a little bit with what you shouldn't do. And I think you sort of hinted at it a little bit, which is let's not get a bot to respond to a customer when it doesn't have its facts right. You know, that is not going to deliver a great experience. And, you know, there are many examples of that already where people have rushed out, you know, this technology and the models haven't been properly trained and, you know, it gives the right response. And I think there's some famous examples out there where, you know, they've responded with how bad the brand is rather than actually how great it is. So, so I think there are lots of things to avoid. I think you very much have to be guest-led with that. So actually look at, you know, how they're using technology today. To Shane's point, you know, there are other industries leading the examples of this in terms of, you know, things like adoption of online check-in and, you know, verifying your ID so you don't have to hand your passport over at the front desk and, you know, all those sorts of things that add friction to the journey. I think there's many opportunities to streamline that. I think going again though to making sure the technology works. I mean, I've been because I have to be a very loyal BA customer over the years. You know, I think the capability of their technology is fantastic. It allows me to check in and go, but the number of times it doesn't work is extremely frustrating, and I think is very damaging to the brand. And you know, so it's really important that the technology really does work and works, you know, to the right sort of standard. And one of the things we haven't talked a little bit about, some of the inner workings of AI. So when it does respond, it's turning a lot of that data into numbers. But one of the things it also does is have a confidence score. So, you know, how confident is it it's got the answer right? And you know, so there's a lot you can do actually with that. If it's 100% confident, you know, what time does the pool open? You know, it can start to reduce that friction and maybe answer that question on your behalf.
The first thing is write down the 10 things that take up the most amount of your time that you repeat over and over again. Write them down and put the, you know, you can even guess, you know, roughly how many hours do you and your colleagues. And start with the one or two that are maybe most similar in the repetition and focus on that one. And like we talked about, I think part of it is for the guest right now, human in the loop. So we're not suggesting advocating using AI to jump that. The question is, where can you use the AI to automate, to be able to say, hey, could you pull this, you know, this recommendation, I'm putting an email and grab the stuff from this restaurant that talks about the chef in the background, put this together and have, you know, something that's very personalized and 95%, and then you spend 5 minutes tweaking a little bit here or there of what the guest wrote about or what they knew about or putting their spouse's name or something about the kids and why they'll love that restaurant, particularly because of the food inquiry they had, and maybe even tweaking a little bit about what you pull in. So from a day-to-day, just start simple. Start with the things that take time, that are kind of repetitive, and just focus on one. The second thing is, which is not for any one of you or any one of us, is sometimes innovation, right? There's incremental, which I think there's huge opportunity. The iPhone, right, was this kind of big leap from what we thought we used to use with flip phones and buttons and what it could be. And so, you know, we talked before about a couple scenarios where the technology's there. Why can't an airline, when I land, show me turn-by-turn walking instructions from one gate to the other and where I need to go, how much time? And some of them do, or walk me to where I need to go in the baggage claim instead of, you know, I'm jet-lagged days somewhere in a foreign country. Maybe at some point a hotel brand could say, you know what? Opt in, I'm a frequent guest, so I'm going to share my profile picture. I already have keyless entry where I could just go to my room and everything's paid. So in that context, I'm not saying that fits everything. I'm happy to have the hotel know I'm 7 minutes out and be greeted, or, you know, even, you know, we see you're 10 minutes away. Would you like us to prepare your favorite Grey Goose cocktail? We'd love to set it up for you in the bar so you can relax, or we can place it in your room if you just like to go straight there. So I think those bigger things are going to happen. They're probably less frequent, and none of us ourselves are going to necessarily do them, but I think those types of things are going to make a better experience over time as well.
I think one thing, consumers are getting less they're not happy when technology doesn't work because it's like, it should work in this age. But I kind of look at it as a triangle when I look at like the trial vertical. In the bottom of the triangle is your data, which you have to get your data and your data state right, which is your knowledge and your information about your company. Then the second layer is around kind of the telemetry of all the information coming out of your systems, and how do I access that information quickly? And then the third layer is the employee. And we did a lot of research at Microsoft across all sectors. And we did specifically hospitality. And what it said basically is the employees in the hospitality world felt that their companies were investing more in consumer-facing technology than in technology for themselves. So that third layer is where I would be practicing, as Stuart said, using AI. I probably wouldn't do it with the consumer just yet because it's your consumer, it's your relationship with them. So it's more of using AI kind of on your employee network, kind of with the, could be the front desk, could be the engineer, whatever it is, or the restaurants that you're working with. So I would use that layer, this third layer, use AI there, relationship to how do I make my job more efficient. I'd start those bottom three layers, and then that last layer will just naturally enhance itself, and that customer experience will be much better.